Libby Prison began its life as a dusty old food warehouse on Tobacco Row, right by the James River. Captain Luther Libby and his son George W. Libby took charge of the place, transforming the three-story brick structure into a bustling location for ship supplies and groceries. The year was 1862, a time of change and tension. Little did they know this building would soon become a significant chapter in history. Confederate soldiers faced a pressing need. They required a new prison for captured Union soldiers, so they ordered Libby to vacate his property within 48 hours. The Confederates viewed the building as an unbreakable fortress. The staff, feeling a sense of ease because of this, thought their duties would be simple. Libby Prison dominated a city block in Richmond, Virginia. Carey Street ran to the north, linking it to the city, while the James River bordered the south. The prison towered 3 stories above ground, with a basement visible from the riverside. Confederate soldiers painted the exterior white, making it easy to spot any escaping prisoners. The first floor housed the Confederate Guards offices. The second and third floors served as holding areas for inmates. The basement was split into 3 parts: a storage cellar on the west, a civilian carpenter shop in the middle, and an eastern section that was once a kitchen. However, due to the rat infestation and flooding, the kitchen was abandoned and became known as Rat Hell. Before I go on, I want to mention one thing. This story isn't about choosing sides. It's about our shared humanity, our experiences, and the history that connects us all. We all have stories to tell, and each one matters. Each moment shapes us, and understanding that can inspire us to grow and unite. And this applies to modern day as well, if you look around. Now back to the story. Colonel Thomas Rose was born in Bucks County, Pennsylvania on March 12, 1830. From a young age, he was driven by a thirst for knowledge, and with his father's guidance, he navigated various schools and academies, soaking up everything he could learn. But his curiosity didn't stop at books. Thomas had a passion for military history and geography. He could vividly recount famous battles, detailing the landscapes where they took place, and intricate uniforms worn by soldiers, even their shoes. When the American Civil War erupted, Thomas stepped up. He joined the 12th Pennsylvania Infantry Regiment, enlisting as a private in Company I on April 25, 1861. His dedication and leadership quickly caught attention, and by October 28, 1861, he was given a chance to lead. He accepted the role of captain for Company I. Now, fast forward, Colonel Thomas Rose was wounded at the Battle of Chickamauga. He arrived at the prison on October 1st, 1863, and from the moment he stepped in the door, he was bent on escape. Now, Andrew Hamilton was Rose's trusted ally and right-hand man during this time period, and he was crucial in rallying support, organizing work schedules, and boosting the spirits of fellow prisoners. Andrew was born in 1817 in what is now Minnesota. Andrew graduated from West Point in 1841. He served in the U.S. Army, gaining recognition in the Second Seminole War and the Mexican-American War. When the Civil War erupted, Andrew Hamilton joined the Union Army and rose to major of the 3rd Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry Regiment. He was captured at the Battle of Chickamauga as well in September 1863. He then found himself imprisoned in Libby Prison. There, he became an integral part of the escape plan, collaborating with Thomas Rose on precise calculations. The plan, it was a tunnel from the prison cellar to a nearby tobacco shed. He confided in a few trusted men, and the plotting began. Thomas and Andrew worked tirelessly together to bring about this escape. Life in Libby Prison was a nightmare. Inmates were crammed into the second and third floors. Windows were barred yet open, allowing the winter's air to bite and the summer's heat to suffocate. Overcrowding bred constant tension and food shortages. Filth and neglect festered, resulting in disease and death. One desperate father, whose son was in Libby, pleaded for supplies, writing, "He has been confined during the whole summer without one change of clothing and is in very destitute condition." Thomas's desperation found willing accomplices around him among the other prisoners. They were also eager to join his dangerous quest for freedom. Hope began to flicker in the darkness, and the plan began to take shape. In the shadows of Libby Prison, a murky canal lay, its waters swelling during the rain, which caused the prison's cellars to flood. This invited an army of rats, their tiny feet scurrying into the building, creating a horrific atmosphere thick with decay. The stench that filled the cellar was unbearable, earning it the infamous title of Rat's Hell. Confederate guards steered clear of this wretched place, giving Thomas and his comrades the perfect cover to dig without being seen. Thomas had a secret entry. He would pry loose bricks from behind a kitchen stove and squeeze through the chimney, landing into the grimy cellar below. Armed with crude makeshift tools, he and his team clawed at the hard earth, each scrape resonating in the silence. They worked under the cloak of night. The outside world was heavily guarded. One bucket at a time, they removed the dirt, stuffing it into a worn spittoon. The cellar was not just a prison, it was a nightmare. The air was stale, filled with the stench of vermin, and the oppressive atmosphere made their task torturous. After digging nearly 60 feet, they finally broke through to the surface, only to discover they had miscalculated their route by several feet. Panic set in as they heard the distant voices of Confederate guards. They concealed their tunnel and recalibrated their escape plan, but they knew time was of an essence. After weeks of digging, the prisoners managed to clear a tunnel that surfaced in the tobacco shed finally. One prisoner described the escape. Everyone wanted to be first in order to get down the chimney as well as the long tunnel. As soon as it was seen that only some could get out before daylight, everyone rushed for the mouth of the tunnel, each man being determined to be the one to get out first. The room was now crowded to suffocation, all struggling to get into the tunnel. The strongest men forced their way to the front, while the weak ones were more roughly pushed against and jammed up against the walls. The Confederates were blind to the chaos unfolding right under their noses. Colonel Harrison Hobart, however, had the foresight to act quickly. He managed to contain the surge of escaping prisoners before dawn broke. Meanwhile, the remaining inmates cleverly replaced the bricks at the fireplace as the guards began their morning routines. Some of them just weren't able to escape in time. The guards were completely oblivious to the fact that 109 Union soldiers were already fleeing towards safety. The Confederates soon realized something was wrong. The morning roll call revealed over 100 people missing. Panic set in. They counted again, recalling how prisoners had often played tricks during roll calls, but this time, this was no prank. The first escapees had been free almost 12 hours at this point. Frenzy erupted in Richmond. Messengers dashed in all directions, and every soldier was sent to hunt down the fugitives. Yet nearly 17 hours had slipped by before the Confederates could mount a proper response. This delay allowed 59 men to slip through the cracks and reach Union lines. The Richmond Enquirer newspaper captured the mood, expressing fears that the fugitives had gained too much ground for the Confederates to hope for a full recapture. But out of the 109 escapees, 48 were recaptured, and 2 tragically drowned in the James River. After escaping on February 9, 1864, Thomas Rose was recaptured, but the Confederates, sensing the threat he posed, even in chains, decided to act. On April 30th, 1864, they traded him for a Confederate colonel. With the newfound freedom, Thomas could do anything, so he decided to rejoin the 77th Pennsylvania Infantry, and he fought until the war's end, undeterred by his harrowing experience. He then spent his final years at Washington, D.C. before dying November 6, 1907, and being buried at Arlington National Cemetery along with his wife, Lydia Trombauer. Now, Andrew Hamilton later became the guest of honor at Libby Prison National War Museum during the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. Tragically, he was murdered on April 2nd, 1895 by Sam Spencer in Morgantown. He now rests in Bethlehem Cemetery in Reedyville, Kentucky. This story transcends sides. Its conflict is a chapter of the past, and it can't be changed. The Libby prison escape is more than a historical event. It serves as a powerful lesson, if you let it. It showcases incredible creativity and teamwork. It's a testament to the human spirit and resolve that we have shown as humans thousands of times through history, even up until now. Together, we can tackle even the toughest challenges. Thank you for watching till the end, and we will see you next time on the Hillbilly Files.